Hello, yes. I am BSSP Rajsekhar, Assistant Professor of Mathematics, Government Degree College for Women, Nalgonda. In today's video, let us discuss about the row space of matrix. This is the today's class map. Let us first quickly go through the null space of a matrix and then column space of a matrix. Let's do some of the examples on those and find out how they are useful. What is the significance of null space and column space? And later we move on to row space of a matrix and we'll discuss the significance of row space. And later we do a statement on row space. Finally, we find basis for row space, column space, and null space of the given matrix. Let us go through the mathematical definition of null space again. So the null space of an m by n matrix A written as null A is the set of all solutions of the homogeneous equations Ax is equal to 0. So when the homogeneous equations are written in a matrix form, Ax is equal to O is the null matrix. Null A will give us the solutions for this system of homogeneous equations. Let us go through some of the examples a little while later. And that is, in set notation, this can be written as null A is equal to set of x such that x belongs to Rn and Ax is equal to O. X is a vector in Rn where n indicates the number of columns of the given matrix, and it should satisfy, that vector should satisfy the relation Ax is equal to. Null A is the set of all x belongs to Rn that are mapped onto the zero vector of Rn. So that is one more significance of null A. And we have already seen that this is a subspace of Rn. Null space is always subspace of Rn where A is an m by n matrix. Let us look into the significance of null space of a matrix A by this simple example. So let us take a very simple example. Solve x plus 2y is equal to 3 and 2x plus 3y is equal to 7. So we need to solve equations in many occasions. Suppose I went to a shop to purchase one pen and two pencils, and it cost me 3 rupees. And another time, 2 pens and 3 pencils cost me 7 rupees. Then what is the cost of pen and pencil individually? So to model that problem, we use x and y. So then x and y can be replaced by anything. So in mathematics, we model the situations. So this is a very common equation which we come across in real life. So we know how to solve this very easily, of course. Simply, this is my equation number 1 and this is my 2. So since it is 2x, I am multiplying this first equation with 2. Then I will get 2x plus 4y is equal to 6, and the second equation is taken as this by simply subtracting this from the first equation multiplied by 2. I will get y is equal to 6 minus 7, that is minus 1. So from this value y is equal to minus 1, I can find the value of x also. If I substitute this value in here, x plus 2 times minus 1 is equal to 3 in the first equation. That will give me x is equal to 3. This minus 2 will become plus 2 here. So 5. So x is 5 and y is equal to minus 1. That is my solution. So we all know this solution, of course. But let us convert this situation into a matrix form. Our aim is to identify the significance of null here using this simple example. So matrix form of this equation is, we take these coefficients as a matrix. So 1, 2 and 2, 3, that is my A, and xy is the matrix of unknowns, that is equal to 3, 7, that is my vector. So here A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, and x is equal to xy, and B is 3 and 7. So this is the matrix form of this equation. So to solve this equation in matrix form, we need augment matrix. So we add the vector B to the matrix A. So while adding the entries of B to the matrix A, we will get this one. So our augment matrix is AB is equal to 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 7. So we need to reduce it into echelon form to solve the matrices in echelon matrices. So using this one, I can make this 0. I can make this point 0. So R2 goes to R2 minus 2R1. So I am multiplying the first row with 2 and subtracting it from row 2. So 2 minus 2 is 0. 3 minus 4 is minus 1. And 7 minus 6 is 1. So again, here I am getting minus 1. So I am multiplying with minus 1. Second row, I am multiplying the second row with minus 1. So that I can get 1 and minus 1. Now using this one, I will make this 0. So that the matrix is in reduced echelon. So to make this 0, R1 goes to R1 minus 2R. So 1 minus 0 is 1 and 2 minus 2 is 0 and 3 minus of minus 1 minus 2. Since we are multiplying this with 2, 3 minus of minus 2 is 3 plus 2, 5. So now this matrix is in reduced echelon. So the reduced echelon form of a matrix will directly give us the solutions. So this first row relates to the x, unknown x, and second row relates to the unknown y. So the equation 1, this is x plus y is equal to x plus 0y is equal to 5. That is x is equal to 5. And the second row gives us y is equal to minus 1. So we get the solution x is equal to 5 and y is equal to minus 1, which we have got by using this method. Of course, it seems to be earlier method is simpler one than this, but for equations where there are more variables, this matrix method is very convenient. In fact, in the real world, we need to consider the equations with 1,000 variables. Sometimes we need to do the equations, we need to solve the equations where there are more than 1,000 unknowns. For example, if we are considering the economy of a country, there will be more and more variables. There will be a lot of industries, fisheries, agricultural, education, pharma. There will be many more industries. All the impact of all industries is to be considered while considering a economy of a country. So there will be more and more than 1,000 entries will be there. And to solve such an equation, we need to deal with more variables. It is practically impossible to solve using this method. You can't write all the equations, you can't do this. Even 3 by 3, when 3 variables are given, 3 unknowns are given, and 3 equations are given, it will take some time. If we go to 4 by 4, it will take a lot of time. So it will take months together to solve such equations where unknowns are more than known. But this process, converting the same into matrix form, and to form an augment matrix, finally converting it into an echelon form, reduced echelon form. Reduced echelon form will give us solutions right away. Even we can program this in system software, which will give us a solution simultaneously, instantaneous. So we need to learn this process. We start from the simplest example, of course. So this is the way to find solutions using matrix. Let us now connect our null space A and column space A with such solutions. Let us first discuss about null space. So we have seen that the definition of null space A here. Null space A gives us solution to Ax is equal to O. When the given equation is homogeneous, that is the RHS is a zero vector or all zeros in all the equations. The equation null space A gives us solutions for such equations. For example, in the earlier example, if the RHS instead of we have taken there, it is 37. Now instead of 37, we are taking zeros. So this is A and this is X and this is denoted by O. So here augment matrix AO is equal to 1, 2, 0, 2, 3, 0. So we are taking zeros in the last column. So which can be reduced into 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. Since we have already seen that this part is reduced to 1, 0 and 0, 1. Since the entries of last column are 0, so the elementary row operations will not impact on the zeros. So the same will remain as zeros. So this is the reduced echelon form of this augment matrix A. So from this, the solution is, obvious solution is x into 0, y is equal to 0, that is x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 0. So x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 0 is the only solution for this equation. For no other x, y, you will get zeros. So we can say that the null space of A contains only 0 vector, that is 0, 0. We can also write it as a two tuple ordered pair 0, 0. Both the notations represent the same vector. Of course, for convenience, sometimes we use column vectors, sometimes we write it as a n tuple. So null space of A contains only 0 vector. So the dimension also, we can say that the dimension is 1, 0, since it is a 0 vector. So the basis for null A is only 0 vector. There is no other vector other than the 0 vector in the basis of null A. So the dimension of null A is 0. So this is about this example. Let us slightly modify the coefficients of this matrix and observe null A when it does not contain not only zero vector. Let us find some more vectors in null A. Let us take such example. Suppose the system of equations x plus 2y is equal to 3 and 2x plus 4y is equal to 6. Let us consider this system of equations. So you can observe that if you multiply this one with 2, you will get this one. So both are same equations. So then our A is equal to the coefficients of these two equations 1, 2 and 2, 4. And the augment matrix. This equation can also be represented in matrix form like Ax is equal to B, where B is equal to 3 and 6. So now I am considering its null space A. So for null space A, I will take B as 0 vector. Instead of Ax is equal to B, I will take Ax is equal to O as in the case of earlier example. So I am now finding the examples for solutions for Ax is equal to O. For that, we need to construct augment matrix AO. AO is 1, 2, 0, 2, 4, 0. So by elementary row operation, R2 goes to R2 minus 2R1. I will get all zeros in the second row. So now this matrix will become this form. Now it is in reduced echelon form. So when it is converted into an equation form, I will get x plus 2y is equal to 0, which is nothing but the first equation. Here it looks unnecessary, but in the case of more variables, it is more convenient. So when the matrix is reduced to echelon form, the equations will be simplified very much. So to observe the changes, to observe the behavior, we took the simple example now. Later we extend it to multivariable equations. So here x plus 2y is equal to 0, that implies x is equal to minus 2y. So now the vector xy is equal to, x can be replaced with this minus 2y and y is y. So this is y times minus 2, 1. So now the null space of A is equal to set of y times minus 2, 1 such that y belongs to R. That means any scalar multiple of this vector minus 2, 1 is a solution for this system of equations. So the basis for null A is minus 2, 1. There is only one vector which is non-zero. So now I can say that the dimension of null A is 1. So this is our null A in this case, and basis of null A is that only vector. So since there is only one vector in the basis of null A, dimension of A is null space A will have the solutions for homogeneous equation, that is Ax is equal to O in matrix form. So x plus 2y is equal to 0 and 2x plus 4y is equal to 0. These two equations will be satisfied by all vectors which are in this form, which are in the form of y times minus 2y, where y is a real number. So let us move on to some more examples, some more live examples by going to Excel lab. So this is a 2 by 2 solution matrix. So here for any equation 1, 2, this is x plus 2y, that is x plus 2y is equal to 8, that is written in matrix form like this. The coefficients are taken here. So x plus 2y is equal to 8 and 2x plus 6y is equal to 70. So now this matrix is taken here and we are constructing an augment matrix AB. Here we are finding a solution for 2 by 2 matrix. Maybe this is being converted into echelon form. So in this echelon form, you will get the solutions directly. So this is 1, 2. What happened here? 2 minus 2 is 0. Why it is still 2? Just check this program. So 2x is equal to 14. So x is equal to 7. X is equal to 7 here. And y is equal to 0.5. That will be our solution for this. So if you multiply these two, so if you take x is equal to 7 and y is equal to 0.5, for these two vectors, we are getting the same value. Similarly, for any vectors, you can get the solution. This is this one by 8x is equal to 14. That implies x is equal to 14 by 8. So this will be that value. And this is 9 by 4 is the y value. If we take these values here, and these two values satisfy this equation. So we can construct Excel programming, Excel tables for solution of simultaneous equations like this. We need to convert it into echelon form. Of course, this is to be further converted into echelon form so that the leading entries are 1. So this is the problem. This is the programming related to null space A of this particular problem. So here we are finding a solution for Ax is equal to 0. But here we have the constants 8 and 17. So that I am converting this equation into a form of Ax is equal to 0. For example, 2x plus 2y is equal to 8. 2x plus 6y is equal to 17. These equations are being converted as 2x plus 2y minus 8 is equal to 0. So let minus 8z is equal to 0. Here I am taking z as 1. 2x plus 6y minus 17z is equal to 0. I fixed the value of z is equal to 1. So now this equation is fixed. Now it is a linear equation with 3 variables. So this is the method of finding null space A. So this is the null space A again. So we are converting it into null space A. So this is being reduced into echelon form. Finally, this is our echelon form. So here we have added one more variable z. Now this is a 3 by 2 matrix and 2 by 3 matrix. We have 2 rows and 3 columns, 2 by 3 matrix. So there will be 3 unknowns. The z is also there. Now we need to find these x, y, z so that their multiplication is 0. That is the problem. So we need to find such x, y, z which will be in our null space. So for that I am constructing an augment matrix which will be in this form. This is an augment matrix and this is converted into echelon form like this, and this is to be further converted into reduced echelon form like this. So here I need to make it 1. For that I am dividing it with by this number 8. These are the formulas used for modeling the problem. Instead of solving this problem, I am putting formulas to solve any problem for any numbers. So here I need to make it 1. For that I am dividing with this number. I am fixing this number by placing a dollar in the formula. So these are my values. So now this will give us x plus 0y minus 1.75 z is equal to 0. And this equation will give us y minus 2.25 z is equal to 0. That is x is equal to 1.75 z and y is equal to 2.25 z. If I take z is equal to 1, since we are fixing, I need to find the problem of this one using this null space, so that I can, if I fix 1, I will get the solution for this equation. If I will not fix 1, I will get any general solution for this equation. So there will be many vectors in null A. If I want to find a particular solution for this equation, I will put z is equal to 1. Otherwise, you can put the value of z anywhere. So this is my z is 1. This is 1.75 times of this one and 2.25 times of this one. If I am multiplying this vector with this one, I am getting 0. So this is one of the solution in null A, one of the vector in null A. So any vector, if I take 2, I need to multiply it with 2, of course. And this is also to be multiplied with this. Yes. This is another vector in null A. So in this way, we can find the solutions of homogeneous equations using null space A, and even we can find the non-homogeneous equations also. Since this is a non-homogeneous equation, I am finding a solution for this using this method, null A. So null A it can be used to find even non-homogeneous equations also. Let us go back to our PPT. We are here. Now column space of a matrix. So these points were discussed earlier just now. Earlier will give the solution for homogeneous equation as well as it is helpful in finding the non-homogeneous solutions also. So let us discuss about the column space of a matrix. We have seen that column space of M by N matrix A is the set of all linear combination of columns of A. It is denoted by column space A. If A is equal to matrix of A1, A2 and so on An, where A1, A2, An are the columns of A, then column space A is equal to spanning set of those vectors. The vectors are nothing but those columns. The span of those columns will be the column space A. That is linear combination of all those columns will be our column space. So we have seen that null space A will give us the solutions of the homogeneous equation, the set of solutions of homogeneous equation. And whereas column space A gives the possible B values in the matrix equation Ax is equal to B. That is, consider the example again. X plus 2y is equal to 3 and 2x plus 3y is equal to 7, which can be written in this matrix form, of course. This is my A and this is my X. That is equal to B. So we have seen that this is solvable. We find the solution for X and Y earlier. 5 and 1 or minus 5 and 1. So we got the solution for X. But the question is this equation is solvable for any vector B? If I change these two values, can this equation is solvable? That is the question. It may be a simple question in 2 by 2, but while dealing with a large number of unknowns, it is very crucial. So column space A will tell us for what values of B the system is solved. This is what Ax is equal to B is solvable for what values of B, that is for what B1 and B2. In the equation is B1, B2. What can I put in the place of 3? Let it be B1. This is B2. Is it solvable for every real number or not? Those questions will be answered by column space. And the question can be asked like this also. What are the possible values of B1, B2 in this equation? If I take different xy, what can I get? So the answer for all these questions is span of 1, 2 and 2, 3, the columns of matrix. So the values which are in the form of C1, this one 1, 2, first column vector, and C2 times second column. So if I name these columns as V1 and V2, C1 V1 plus C2 V2. V2s will be our V1 V2s. The numbers which are in the form of C1 V1 plus C2 V2, where C1 V1 is 1, 2 and V2 is 2, 3, will be our possible B1 and B2s. Here I took C and D, of course. This is nothing but column space. So in other words, the vectors which are in column space A can appear here, or the vectors which are in column space A, when appear here, the equation will be solvable. So for those equations whose B1 and B2 are in column space A, those equations have solutions. Let us look into our sheet again. So this is the problem. So here again, we are converting it into echelon form. You can take any of these values, of course. So here the question is, for what values will get solution? So if I take 817, we are getting echelon form. So 6 and 1 are the solution. So if I use this solution 6 and 1 here, so I'll get the same solution, 817. So 817 is solvable. Since it is in the linear combination, suppose 817. So the numbers which are here, 8 and 17, will give us 4284, of course. 817 are the answers, 6 and 1 are the solutions. So 6 and 1 give us 817 for this system, 1225. So the linear combination of these two will be solvable. For example, if you take 16 and minus 13, you are getting this minus 10 and 33. This is solvable. This equation, x plus 2y is equal to minus 10, 2x plus 5y is equal to minus 33 is solvable. So which are the linear combination of these two vectors will be solvable. Suppose if I take this one, so only all the linear combinations will be the multiples of this 1 and 2. Minus 10 and minus 20 is solvable, whereas minus 10 and minus 15 is not solvable for this system, since it is not in the column space of. So column space of A will give us the solutions, give us the values of B1, B2 for which the equations are solved. That is the importance of column space. Let us discuss about the today's topic, row space. If A is an m by n matrix, each row of A has n entries and thus can be identified with a vector in Rn. So an m by n matrix has m rows and n columns. Each row has n entries since there are n columns. So each row contains n entries. So each row can be considered as a vector in Rn. So the set of all linear combination of row vectors is called the row space of A, and it is denoted by row of. So to solve the equations, we add the equations, we subtract the equations after multiplying with a constant. All these are nothing but linear combination of the equations. So these all linear combinations will form the row space of the. All such combinations are in row space of A and it is denoted by row. So it will be a subspace of Rn also. Earlier we have proved that the column space is subspace of Rn. Similarly, here this is subspace of Rn. Since the rows of A are identified with the columns of A transpose, we could also write column space of A transpose in place of row space A. If we transpose a matrix A, its columns will be converted as rows and rows will be converted as columns. So the rows of A are nothing but columns of A transpose. So row space of A is nothing but column space of A transpose. So let us look into one of the example of row space. Let A is equal to this matrix of 3 by 5, sorry, 4 by 5 matrix is given to us. So let us name the rows by R1 and R2. Let R1 is equal to -2, -5, 8, 0, and 17, and this is R2, R3, R4. So name the rows. Now the row space of A is nothing but span of these 4 vectors R1, R2, R3, R4. You can observe that each R1, R2, R3, R4, each of these vectors is a vector of R5 since there are 5 entries. So for convenient, we are writing them horizontally, but we can also write them in a vertical column as a vertical column. Both are same. Even I can write, though it is related to row vector, row space, I can write this R1 as the column vector -2, -5, 8, 0, -17. For convenience, we are writing in this manner. That's it. So any column vector can be written in the form of a. So let us look into some of the examples again. So I have taken that matrix here. After performing a row operations, elementary row operations, now this is in echelon form. Now this is in echelon. So row space of A contains the linear combination of these 4 vectors. So the first row can be multiplied by 5, second row can be multiplied by 6, third row with -3, and fourth row with 4. Now this is a new vector. Now this vector is in row space of A. All such similar, I can change these scalars of course. If I put 1 and all zeros, I will get first row. And I will put all zeros and last term as 1, I will get the last row. So I can change any of them. So any multiple of this one with different scalars, of course. We are calling this as R1. So C1 R1 plus C2 R2 plus C2 R3, C3 R3 and C4 R4. Our C1, C2, C3, C4 will be any scalars. I can take any scalars. So these are all will be, all these vectors will be in our row space. Here, this is the echelon form. Even I can take these vectors also. So the multiples of these vectors, these three vectors, since the fourth one is all zeros, can also form the row space here. So the vector which I got by using these multiples, this one can also be found by using these three vectors also. So these three row vectors can also form the entire space, can also span the entire row space. If these three are linearly independent, these three will form the basis. Since we are getting a zero row here, these four vectors are not linearly independent. So this is not a basis. These four vectors can span row space, but they cannot form a basis. But now it is in the echelon form. So these three vectors can form a basis. Let us once again go back to PPT. So let us prove this statement. Simple one. If two matrices A and B are row equivalent, as we have seen earlier, then their row spaces are the same. So the row space spanned by A is similar to row space spanned by B, which is in echelon. That is what we have discussed earlier. So that is to be true now. If B is in echelon form, the non-zero rows of B form a basis for the row space of A as well as for that of B. So non-zero rows of B can span the row space of A also as well as B. That is what we are going to prove now. If B is obtained from A by row operations, the rows of B are linear combination of rows of A. So while converting a matrix into echelon form, we are using elementary row operations. Those are nothing but the linear combinations. Sometimes we add R1 plus R2. Sometimes we subtract R1 minus 3R3. Like that. These are all linear combinations. So after performing such few elementary operations, we will get echelon form. So echelon form is nothing but one of the linear combination of A. So any linear combination of rows of B is a linear combination of rows of A. That is what we have discussed now. Thus row space of B is contained in row space of A. So all the row vectors which can be spanned by using the vectors of row vectors of B can also spanned by row vectors of A. So row space of B is contained in row space of A. That is what written here symbolically. And the elementary row operations are reversible. When R1 goes to R1 minus R2, then I can make it, I can convert it into original form by performing again R1 plus R2. I will get the original row. So all these operations are reversible. The same argument will show that row space of A is contained in row space. B also. From these two, we can say that row space of A is equal to row space of B. So, if B is an echelon form of A, it is sufficient to tell that the non-zero rows of B can form the basis. Since in A we can't determine whether they are linearly independent or not, but in B, which is in echelon form, we can clearly say that the non-zero rows are linearly independent. So if B is in echelon form, its non-zero rows are linearly independent, since no non-zero row is a linear combination of non-zero rows below it. So in echelon form, the leading positions, which we call as pivot positions, will be right hand side to the column above it, row above it. So you can't form the above row with a row below it. As a linear combination of rows below it, you can't form a row above those rows, since there will be zeros in the columns in which leading entry is there in the above column. So we can clearly say that the rows of a matrix which is in echelon form are linearly independent. Whenever it is linearly independent, since it spans the entire space of row space of A and B, which are both equal, so it is spanning and those rows are linearly independent, so they form a basis. Thus, non-zero rows of B form a basis of the row space of B and B. Since row space A is equal to row space B. So with this, I will conclude today's class.